Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thursday night's Healthy Living Inspirations class, where we're learning how to live healthy, even though we're living in a slightly toxic world. Tonight's subject is unveiling the truth behind prevention and causes of cancer. This is actually Cancer Awareness Month. Notice my ink, Pink. There's a pink lady on the line there that loves pink and looks fantastic in pink. I am going to share my screen and go on over, pulling up my PowerPoint. Let's go over a slideshow, home, slideshow from the start. All righty. And you let me know that you can see my slides. That should pop up any second now. I have no idea why it's so dark on that screen, but anyhow, I want to go ahead and start. Participants, let me see if somebody needs to come in. It is Chrissy. Make sure the volume's all the way down. Absolutely. All right, let's get rolling here. I like to start with our mission, our vision, and our purpose for even hosting classes like this, or even being a part and participating, is because we are part of an amazing team called the Bald Eagle team. And this is by design, that I do believe, divine design that God put together here in America, led by a gentleman from South Africa that we will hear from toward the end of this presentation. But it's a Bald Eagle family creating a legacy that is global impact with integrity through a culture of healthy living, financially, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, quality relationships and spiritual growth. We emphasize that you are made up of spirit, soul, and body, and we strive to lead according to God's proactive design for abundant wellness in spirit, mind, and body to help us end the trend. And what kind of trend? Well, the trend of chronic dis-ease. So the Bible is our guidance for wisdom, and where there is a lack of vision, we believe people will perish. We've been duped into believing man-made synthetic pills, potions, and symptom-based treatments with side effects are the answers, and they have utterly failed us. And we are more wealthy nation, yet we're sicker than ever before behind third world countries. And this is from preventable illnesses. The solution is very clear. Restoration only takes place when we empower the body's miraculous design to heal from within. And this is what we believe. This is what we're guided by. And that was the great physician from Genesis chapter 1, our creator. And then Hippocrates actually agreed. Then he happens to be the father of medicine, not modern day medicine, but the very beginnings of medicine, where they used natural herbs and natural components from the earth. And he said, let your food be your medicine, let your medicine be your food. So tonight we're going to unveiling the truth about this dreaded thing called cancer. So let's get started. All right. Now, an unveiling is a description of kind of like having a box that is wrapped. And you're going to take the bow off first, then you're going to take the wrapping paper off. And then if it's tape, we got to cut the tape. And then we got to lift the lid or lift the compartments of the box. So I like to start from the very beginning and take a look at what are the top killer cancers. And surprisingly, lung cancer, and there's some places that say breast cancer or other types of cancer, but the general research that I did actually pointed more to lung cancer being a number one killer. And go figure, because of all of the toxins in the environment that hits our lungs first and foremost. And then comes breast cancer, then prostate cancer, and then colon cancer, and then melanoma. So these are kind of the top killer cancers. And we're going to identify, what is actually the driving cause of this, and then what things we can do in the arena of prevention. So let's take a look. They really do not know why. I actually attended a event on last Saturday that had one of the research doctors from, I won't say the institution, but just for the sake that I am recording this. But it happens to be, if I said its name, you would say, oh, yeah, that is the institution that everybody goes that's been diagnosed with the C word. And they had one of their top researchers that came and did a lecture. And so they were talking about how 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Wow, okay. And then they talked about 30% of all cancer diagnosis is breast cancer. And then they talked about what are the top reasons or causes that they say is causing the drivers behind breast cancer. And one of them was being a career woman. And of course, they talked about the fact that being a career woman, you're going outside, you're being exposed to a lot more toxins in the environment, the stress and the cortisol being released from the stress factors is higher. And so they were talking about cortisol, stress, and environmental issues. Now, there are other researchers, and I've often quoted this, that a housewife actually has a very high risk also if they're using toxic home cleaning products, because they're exposed all day long to the formaldehydes, the bleaches, the ammonias, and the forever chemicals that is found in those non-stick pans and the plastics. And I mean, if you're in the home, from your linoleum floor to your carpet to your curtains, all are carrying some type of a chemical that is being released in gases throughout the day. But anyhow, so in other words, they're saying whether you're a career woman or a housewife, you are higher risk. And then not, and I want to emphasize this word, not breastfeeding. So they're saying today that when you suppress a natural body function, then the body is forced to shut down something that is natural, a natural process. And I do remember talking with my mother when I discovered this years ago, actually before I even had my children, asking her, Mom, did you breastfeed your babies? And of course, she said she breastfed her first few babies, but then the doctors came in and said, oh no, we're not going to breastfeed anymore because they've come out with a better formula. Pet milk with some Karo syrup is supposed to be better than breast milk. Oh my goodness. And I remember my mother was a nurse, and I remember the tears that welled up in her eyes as she said, I listened to them, and I should have never listened to them because, it just didn't make sense. Why would God create your breast to nurture your children, and it's perfect milk, it's a perfect formula, and then man say that they conjured something up in a laboratory that was better? Anyhow, now they're saying when you suppress a natural body function, then you increase your risk down the road of getting breast cancer. And all we know, stress factors. Women are under a lot of stress in today's world, whether you're a career woman, working outside of the home. I personally, this is my belief system, I personally believe that the man in a family unit is the head of the household, and that the Word of God talks about a man providing for his household. And that when that is thrown on the woman's shoulder, and in today's world, it just naturally has because of our economy, because of our situation. You have to have a two-income family in order to make it in today's world in terms of paying for the car payments and the insurances and the mortgage payments and all of those things and getting a vacation. So there's actually stress put on the woman's shoulder to go out and actually be a breadwinner and carry her heavy load. And they're now saying that's actually causing a lot of cortisol in women, because now you've got the heaviness of organizing and orchestrating your household, teaching and training your children, taking care of everything in your household, plus going out and carrying home a paycheck. Also, air pollution, environmental toxins. I don't think we have to argue about that. A lot of the environmental toxins has to do with xenoestrogens, which is a synthetic form of estrogen that they've actually put in all plastics. Now, you would say we live in a plastic world. You can't go out the door. Your cars are now made from plastics. Your water bottles are made from plastics. I mean, everything. If you were to count how many things it's in your own home that's made from plastics, you would like, oh my goodness, it's all plastic. So those plastics actually emit a synthetic type of hormone that disrupts your hormones in your body. And this is why prostate cancer and breast cancer and lung cancer and colon cancer, by the way, is actually a hormone remediated type of cancers where a xenoestrogen has gone in and taken over and come in as an imposter, and the body takes it in thinking it's the real thing when it's not, and then it disrupts and causes tumors and irregular cell reproduction problems, lack of sleep. And the one thing that they said that this was actually a 50% increase of being the one of those 1 out of 8 when you actually have a lack of sleep. And this is talking about insomnia, is talking about other areas and ways, that your body is under a lot of cortisol, stressors when you don't get proper amounts of sleep. And they're saying that when the heavy load is on the woman, she's got to hit the road early in the morning. She's got to take care of the children, the family responsibilities, and then go to work and then take the pressure of the work and then come home and finish, driving around the children to all their activities. By the time she lands in bed, she's exhausted. And so a lack of sleep, and after you have a baby, I don't know about you, but after you have a baby, it takes a long time to recuperate your lack of sleep. Naturally, because babies don't come into this world sleeping 9 hours straight a night. They're up to every 2 hours. Sometimes it just depends. So it takes quite a bit of time for a woman to recuperate her. And what happens is that cortisol starts dripping and causing higher levels of stress. Now, this was very interesting what this expert said from this institution that did this lecture, that the triple negative cancer is one of, let's say, the worst types of breast cancer. And they say dark-skinned women have the highest amount of these cancers. Now, I know this for a fact, that a deficiency in vitamin D, every person that has breast cancer is deficient in vitamin D. So this may be a factor here. And I do know there's research showing that deficiency in vitamin D leaves you vulnerable. And that's why the dark skin, actually, the cancers that develop in the dark skin is the worst type of cancer, which they don't have a lot of hope for the treatments of this type of cancer. And then hormone replacement therapy. So anytime, in fact, this research doctor from this institution that lectured, she actually said, ladies, if you're suffering from hot flashes or, just menopausal issues, she said, for God's sake, do not go get hormone replacement therapy. That's what she said. And she was saying that because it is a cause of cancer. It's a cause of breast cancer. It's a cause of other hormone remediated type cancers. And she said if you were taking birth control when you were younger, this also is a high risk factor. And she was listing some of the top high risk factors for being diagnosed with breast cancer and other hormone type cancers. So hormone replacement therapy, birth control, and I thought this was very interesting, Jewish ancestry. I didn't see that one coming, but she said that the Jewish ancestry, family history, they actually have a higher risk for developing hormone remediated type cancers. Of course, the top two, alcohol and smoking, they always want to deflect and say, these are always contributing factors. Why? Because they're toxic to the liver and toxic to the body overall. Tobacco isn't necessarily evil or toxic or addictive, but it happens to be about the 140 chemicals that they happen to put in those cancer sticks that actually is, including smokeless tobacco. So their treatment plans goes as follows. Their treatment plans, a standard treatment plan for if you've been diagnosed with breast cancer is chemo, surgery, radiation, and this is a puzzle to me, hormone therapy. Now, didn't you just see where hormone replacement therapy was a cause of cancer and now they're going to use it as a treatment for cancer? That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm being recorded. So you can fill in the blank. You can be the judge. And then immunotherapy and then cancer vaccines. Now, she talked quite a bit about Gardasil. I'm going to give a recent post by the National Vaccine Information Center that talked about the side effects of Gardasil using the MedAlert search engine as of August 29, 2025. So that's just a few weeks ago. The Federal Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System and VAERS contains almost 80,000 reports of HPV vaccine reactions, hospitalizations, injuries, and death from the Gardasil shot. Related deaths, hospitalizations, disabling conditions, and reporting serious side effects. I guess you would say 6 foot under is pretty serious. Wouldn't you say that's pretty serious? And this is also reported from 17 years of age and even younger. So I would give a caution because this seems to be the new frontier for where they're looking, because this expert said in this lecture, they do not know why that women are getting breast cancer and why it's on the rise and increasing to such a degree. And they don't even know, and they admit that the treatment plans they have today are not working. So they're saying our new frontier research and all the money that is going into research and development, R&D, is going into vaccines. So I found this as an article that's just recently published from the biotechnology sector, rapidly advancing, introducing next generation drug delivery precision therapeutics, more targeted, easier, less invasive, easier for patients. Sounds so wonderful, doesn't it? But it's going to actually oral biologics, DNA-based medicines. Now let that sink in for about 2 seconds here. If you know anything about Genesis chapter 1, this should actually put a red flag in your heart, red flag in your mind, just to say, what does this really mean that they're messing or they're they're changing your actual DNA through a vaccine as a method of treatment for prevention and other cancer treatments. Advanced small molecules, that's nanotechnology. Let that sink in a minute. Are moving from research to clinical application. And it says down here, oncology is the #1 area they're doing this research in. Urology and autoimmune disorders and rare diseases are where they're putting all of their money into. The future therapies is going to be in vaccines. The next frontier revenue, big pharma bank, is precision medicines. Take a look at the word CRISPR here. CRISPR, if you know what CRISPR means, it means it's genetic DNA splicing. It means it's changing and altering the way God put his very imprint in your DNA. But don't worry about it. It's going to help you, right, to prevent some things down the road. Okay, should I believe that? I'm just saying. Should you be aware of that? Should you be cautioned about that? And it says here, it's paving the way. It's potential. Notice how they use the word potential because um, because I'll just leave it at that. It's potential because they can't prove it. They really cannot prove it. So they have to put that word potential cures for previously untreatable genetic disorders, cell therapies, and underpinning the progress of pharmaceutical industry, research and development. But I want you to see how the top 50 pharmaceutical companies alone are estimated to have spent a total of 167 billion in R&D. What does that tell you? In 2022, right after the C scare, they now have pushed and put all of their money in one pocket, and that is to push vaccines as a cure. Oh my goodness. All I'm saying is if you're for it, be for it. But if you're not, be aware. And delivering the next generation of medicine for a healthier future. It will be sold to us as peace, and safety and a cure. And don't worry, don't you want to eliminate chronic disease? Okay. So prevention, let's talk a little bit about prevention. Diet plays the biggest role. They actually admit this. They admit your diet, your lifestyle plays one of the biggest roles in the way you handle stress, what you drink, what you eat, how you think, and the way you handle stress. Oh my goodness. Gut biome, that's your immune system. 70-80% of your immune system is found in your gut. Your weight, they say, all right, your weight, okay, probably because your extra pounds are storing toxic elements in the body to try and keep them away from your vital organs. Breastfeed your baby as a way to prevent breast cancer. Oh my goodness, not only breast cancer, but other forms of cancer. Just simply breastfeed your baby. And she also mentioned breastfeed that baby for longer than 6 months. Not just 2 weeks, not just 3 days, but she said over 6 months. All the research showing that when you breastfeed for over 6 months, it just increases your protection and lowers your risk. Water, okay, hydration, what is in your water? Is it purified water? Is it cleaned, or does it have all kinds of chemicals and medicines in it? You know, what is in your water supply? What are you drinking for water? Avoid hormone therapy at all costs is what they shared. Stop smoking if you're smoking, and stop alcohol if you drink alcohol. And they actually said that many of them there had to remediate their thoughts about drinking moderate alcohol, because they realized that even moderate drinking played a role in cancer risk. Exercise, I'm sorry, that is misspelled, clams you. It actually calms you. Sorry about that misspelling word there, but it calms you. Why? Because you're actually getting rid of some of that stored up cortisol, some of that stress. So a brisk walk is phenomenal for releasing a lot of that pent up cortisol that's doing a lot of that damage. And here we go, increase nutrients, especially antioxidants. So they spend a lot of time on sharing the fact that antioxidants is your number one barrier between you getting a diagnosis and you not getting a diagnosis. So let's dive in and let's say another research here that talks about that. Cancer fighting nutrition. Here's a letter from Tufts talking about eating to beat cancer. And what are some of their really powerful, important antioxidants that they're emphasizing that they have actually done research on? And as alpha and beta carotene from root and green leafy vegetables, lycopene from tomatoes, cruciferous, garlic and onion, berries, grapes, and the grapes, it's the dark colored, it's the purple grapes. Teas, and it's not just any tea, but it's Earl Grey tea. Having a cup of Earl Grey tea with bergamot in it every single morning is actually very powerful at reducing your risk. Fermented green teas, organic green teas, is also very powerful. Omega-3 fatty acids, because they're seeing that these omegas play a major part in protecting your cells and tissue of your breast, your prostate, and any other lungs, and colon, stomach, bladder, kidneys, all right, and fiber. And so they're showing that fiber plays not only a role in prebiotic food for setting the colonies, the variety of colonies in the gut, but it also is a tool that's used to collect a lot of the toxins in the body and carry them out. So if I ever do a detox, which I'm just reminding myself that somebody needed a detox menu that I need to send to them, but fiber is always included in it because it needs a binder. And I love the Neolife fiber because it's soluble and the insoluble fiber, and it's a wonderful, well-balanced binder for a lot of these toxins. So here you see that they're showing that these are some of the antioxidants that really does lower the risk of cancer and increases your ability to defend your body's own defense system, your immune system, your gut, and all of the others. So strategies for prevention, that's hyper vigilant, maximize the presence of whole food nutrition should be our number one job every single day. But yet nobody's getting the amount of carotenoids and the amount of vitamin E's and A's and C's And all of those wonderful nutrients, nobody's getting enough of them because you'd have to eat bushels of food, right? So let's take a look at Dr. Arthur First. I can't talk about this subject without referencing Dr. Arthur First. Dr. First changed the course of history with his research and taking a look at, I'm going to read that middle one. It says, in modern days, most people who discover something try to patent it at once. But many years ago, I made the philosophical decision that anything I do in cancer must be in public domain. I've never patented anything, even though I published, and this goes through other chemicals besides oral chemotherapy. And you're looking at Dr. Arthur First, who was the father of oral chemotherapy. And so we're going to talk about the fact, why in the world did he create oral chemotherapy? And the reason being is because well, let's just read it to you. He was one of the world's foremost investigators in the field of cancer research, one of 3 United States representatives of the World Health Organization in the field of cancer research. He worked as a consultant to the World Health Organization in identifying carcinogens in the workplace, in the environment, in the home, in the industry, especially identifying heavy metals as carcinogens that actually trigger irregular cell reproduction. And he was a member of the U.S. Department of Energy. His task was to monitor air cleanliness. How about that? Water. All right. How many toxins are in the water? How many toxins are in the air? He was a world-leading toxicologist, founder and director of the Institute of Chemical Biology. So he actually posted research papers on all these areas of where these toxins are coming from, how many are in the air, how's it affecting the biology and the chemistry of the body, how it triggers cancer, how long it takes, how the amount of exposure that we have, how long it takes for the body to say, I've had enough, we're at toxic overload, now we're going to start the irregular cell reproduction. He is internationally recognized as his work as metal carcinogens, toxicology, smoking effects, soil chemistry, drug synthesis and metabolism, medical chemistry, a warm person concerned with today's living. Such a man as Dr. Arthur First, whom we salute to his loyalty, his love for mankind, over 220 scientific publications, wrote many books on occupational cancer. He understood the specific occupation and how it was connected to your risk for cancer, such as those that worked in the mines. Wow, hello. Yes, those that worked in the industry that handled a lot of heavy metals and carcinogens on a daily basis. He knew that. And he wrote about it and he warned about it, actually. He served in 6 editorial boards, a fellow in the New York Academy of Sciences, American Association for Advancement of Science, and was a member of the 3 honor societies. There's very few, probably less than 100 scientists that can say that they have the same bio that Dr. Arthur First had. So there was a divine connection between Dr. Arthur First and Jerry Brasfield, and Don Pickett actually, that had the company Neolife before Jerry Brasfield took full ownership. But Dr. First met Don Pickett in 1975, the founder of Neolife, and Don Pickett was a strong proponent and promoter of the importance of nutrition for health since 1958 from our 10-year hospital study on missing nutrients that caused a cellular breakdown. And so the Nutrition and Health Society, Dr. First shifted from medicine to prevention. Do you know what it takes for a man of this stature to shift his attention? It takes a divine intervention. This doesn't just happen in today's world. It takes a divine, I want to really emphasize this, because what we have here, what he gave us, the legacy he left us, was a gift. And we need to honor that gift. So he knew that people were not getting adequate amounts of nutrition to help combat the floods of carcinogens and heavy metal toxins that were being released in the environment. So Dr. First found that Neolife Company to be the perfect vehicle for delivering both his message about nutrition and health, as well as his ideas on how to assure maximum nutrition advantage to the right supplementation. He found a home and he left his legacy through Neolife. So Dr. Arthur First was a world-leading pioneer in chelation, and that's the chelating minerals in order to bond them with a double amino acid structure so they don't fight each other as they go through your intestines, through your digestive system and flush out. They actually bond and appropriately dismantle into the body's bloodstream to go about the business of what amazing minerals do in the body. So that he was a Stanford School of Medicine and Stanford University, chemotherapeutic agents, oral, he knew all about that. And so he developed a detox program. So if anybody you know has ever had a round of chemotherapy, they need to be told, at least be shared about Dr. Arthur First detox program for this chemotherapy. Pioneer whole food nutrients, Dr. First, and internationally regarded as a pioneer in toxicology cancer research. And he founded the first Stanford Cancer Chemotherapy Lab. And many of his discoveries led to groundbreaking Neolife formulas. And his enormous talent, energy, and dedication and vision are major reasons why. So the Beta Guard was his formula that he painstakingly worked on to pull the chemo out of the bloodstream, out of the body. And I just heard a testimony of somebody who said they went through treatments for their cancer and took the chemotherapy. His urine smelled like chemotherapy for months and years after he took it. And someone introduced him to Dr. Arthur First, world-leading toxicologist in pioneer cancer research, detox program. And he said when he went through it, his urine no longer smelled like chemotherapy. Wow. So antidote to the toxic exposure, especially if you're in an environment where you're daily inundated with toxic chemicals, I would take Betagard on a daily basis. I just would. And obviously do a Betagard detox about 4 times a year. And then, of course, it's a natural detoxification, and it binds with the carcinogens, it binds with the heavy metal toxins, and it flushes out of the body. And it actually works like a heat-seeking missile into the body, searching out. And we use a binder of the Fiberful and also the Neolax to help flush out the bowels quickly. It's an amazing detox program. So the Betagard, based on years of research from Dr. Arthur First in cancer, its causes, and his deep understanding of toxicology, he created this formula. Hallelujah, we have a solution. I am so grateful for this. This original research opened the door to additional whole food carotenoid scientific investigation, which led to our carotenoid complex we'll talk about here in a minute. So nutritional support and detoxification all in one formula. Amazing. Developed world-renowned toxicologist, delivers synergistic blend of antioxidants, defying nutrients detoxifying nutrients to help the body interrupt toxic processes associated with environmental pollutants. All right, so it goes on to talk about what's in there. Our formulas that I'm going to share with you tonight have been clinically tested on humans, and the results have been so phenomenal. They were picked up by independent, world-renowned medical journals, such as the Journal of New England, the Journal of American College of Nutrition, American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and International Journal of Toxicology. Hello. Oh my goodness. And of course, having our seal of accountability, Scientific Advisory Board, which Dr. Arthur First led. So now we're going to go over and shift a little bit, because Dr. Lester Packer actually worked with Dr. Arthur First for a period of time. And Dr. Lester Packard was on our scientific advisory board for a short period of time. And the reason why is because Dr. Arthur First knew that Lester Packard was the world-leading expert in antioxidants. This is one of his books, The Antioxidant Miracle. So he said, what better scientist than the one who has the most expert research on antioxidants than Lester Packer? So we invited him to come on to our scientific advisory board, and he did, and that's how they actually birthed through the 17 years of research to develop our amazing carotenoid complex. So these are a few quotes from Dr. Lester Packer, which is, scientists now believe that the free radicals are factors in nearly every known disease, from heart disease to arthritis to cancer, cataracts. In fact, radicals are a major culprit in the aging process itself. That's page 8 on the book. There is overwhelming scientific evidence demonstrating that those of us who eat a diet rich in antioxidants and take antioxidant supplements will live longer and healthier. Wow, I'm just quoting from the World Expert book. It is virtually impossible to get the optimal amount of antioxidants through food alone. Although there are literally hundreds of antioxidants, only 5 appear to be a network antioxidants: that's CE, glutathione, lipoic acid, and coenzyme Q10. We're going to talk about those because those are the top 5 that Dr. Lester Packard punched out big time. And then what makes network antioxidants so special is that they can recycle and regenerate one another after they have quenched a free radical. So in other words, they don't make a hit and then flush. They keep on hitting and keep on hitting, and they not only keep on hitting, but they can recharge the batteries of vitamin C, vitamin E, and other amazing antioxidants. Lipoic acid is the most versatile and powerful antioxidant in the entire antioxidant defense network. So I decided to focus on it tonight. So here we go. Antioxidant protection. Protect us from free radicals. Free radicals are caused from being exposed to toxic people, toxic environments, toxic food, toxic water, toxic air. Oh my goodness. Free radicals is our God-given defense system. So it neutralizes free radicals, and antioxidants help prevent, and I'm just gonna, you see the list, and you see lipoic acid, vitamin E, vitamin C, glutathione, CoQ10, and free radical damage cell structures, cause oxidation, rancidity, scientific evidence that they cause cancer by attacking what? DNA. Heart disease, rancid cholesterol, stroke, rancid cholesterol. And I actually took this directly from Lester Packer's book. Wow, smoking, toxins, radiation, all of these things. Oh my goodness. So let's start. I love our tray. It's liquid essence of life. Dr. Arthur First delivered, this was one of the last formulas before he completely retired in his late 80s, early 90s. He said he knew that the last day big hit was going to be cancer and brain issues, such as dementia and Alzheimer's. And he needed to formulate a liquid that actually passed through the blood-brain barrier. And he actually gathered the top 10 anti-cancer berries in the world, and he hyper multiplied them, maximizing them. And the alpha lipoic acid is part of that tray drink, because alpha lipoic acid allows that tray drink to actually go through the blood-brain barrier to give your brain a deposit of powerful wellness. So whether it's the C word or the H word or the S word or the D word, no matter what it is, we need powerful boosters of antioxidants. And I trust this because of the source. I trust this because Dr. Arthur First was a genuine scientist that looked at nature first for his guideline to help humanity. He saw the body as how God created the body to heal itself, and he wanted to assist the body in that process. Wow. So the Neolife difference, it's standardized. There's a lot of juices out there selling a lot of stuff. And we know about the one that went down that was so big called Mona VE. And we know that when they finally tested it in the lab, it was 1,000,000 to 1 off on its label. So take a look here. It's standardized. That means it's quality tested each batch, quality for its potency and its power, nutrient power. It's rich with antioxidants and especially that alpha lipoic acid. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 1 ounce of tray. Lipoic acid, what is it? Now, I'm just going to go over this because I'm a little nerdy, so I didn't really have a lot of time to edit all of this information, and I know it's too much. But I'm going to talk about how lipoic acid was discovered. And when it was first discovered, they thought it was a B vitamin because it kind of resembled the biotin in the structure of a B vitamin. And then they quickly realized, no, this actually is a fatty soluble nutrient. And then they discovered, oh my goodness, so they named it lipoic, which is a Greek word for fat. And they realized it has 2 sulfur atoms at the very end of it that makes it very unique and very unusual in its antioxidant capabilities. And this means that it can penetrate both water soluble and fat soluble because it has 2 bonds. So it can go into the water soluble, your eyes, your skin, you're 70% water, but you got brain that says fat soluble too. You got areas in your eyes that is fat soluble, your breast tissue fat soluble, your prostate fat soluble, colon fat soluble, water soluble. So it does the job of 2 antioxidants in one. You get 2 for 1, honey. How many people like to get 2 for 1? Yeah. Chrissy and I, our first breakfast, we got Black and Brew handed us 2 for 1. And so we love 2 for 1. Well, you get a lipoic acid, you're going to get 2 for 1. So lipoic acid offers powerful antioxidant protection against 3 common afflictions associated with heart, cataracts, the eye, stroke, the brain, all of these issues. By now, you should be obvious that lipoic acid is a very good saturated fatty acid and very powerfully important. So in every cell of our bodies, it not only acts as a super antioxidant, but it participates as a vital coenzyme in the Krebs cycle, the complex series of chemical reactions responsible for generating energy through cellular respiration. So it actually assists your cells in gaining energy. Wow, kick out the toxin, neutralize the damage, and then recharge the cell for some energy. Whoa, what does that say about glutathione? We're going to learn that in a minute. Lipoic acid was discovered by essential coenzyme in 1951. They realized that essential component involved this actually charges up your mitochondria. So it's your cellular batteries that works with CoQ10. So lipoic acid, it pairs up with CoQ10 to recharge your mitochondria batteries and produce your own body's antioxidant system called glutathione. Now, if that sounds like it's Greek to you, just keep with me. It wasn't until 1988 that researchers also realized that it can also act as a powerful biological antioxidant. Man, this molecule is super. It can do this, it can do this, it can do this, it can do this, it can do this. You ever seen those commercials that said, this slicer will dicer? And it will slice this way, and it'll slice that way. It'll chop this way, and it'll chop that way, and it does this, and that does that. It'll absolutely, and you situate it like this, and it'll clean your kitchen and all your mess up afterwards. Now, how many would say 1-800, I want to? It is able to chelate transitional metals, which are involved in oxidative action. This is real important because it's chelating the heavy metals in your body. Wow. And of course, it's recycling effects of other antioxidants. So lipoic acid really has quite a diversity function as it works with CoQ10. Wow. And guess what? The Neolife has the only whole food CoQ10. Everybody else is a synthetic, pathetic version. CoQ10, fat soluble, regenerates vitamin E, used to treat and prevent, okay, rejuvenates brain cells, heart. I mean, who thought about CoQ10 about your gums, your gum health? And it's found in seafood and it's found in organ meat. So how many here eat organ meat? I ate one today. I boiled that chicken to make my chicken salad and had the prettiest liver I've ever seen. I boiled that liver, put some salt on it, and ate every bit of it. It was delicious. Anyhow, lipoic acid, what is it? I think I already gave this one. Why are you in there twice? Yes, you are. You're in there twice. I don't know how that happened. But anyhow, Dr. Packer, one of the hundreds known of antioxidants, there are 5. We talked about those 5. They balance the cycle of each other, and cells essentially filled with water surrounded by a fatty wall. So what is a cell? A cell has a border, and that border, when you have order at the border, you have order and not chaos within the cell. And that border is made of a lipid fatty substance. And we know that TRANN, which is your lipids and your sterols, is what makes up our healthy border of our cells. Lipoic acid actually comes in and assists and protects and is an antioxidant to your lipid border. The walls are protected from being oxidized, from rusting out by this lipoic acid. 2 of the networks is vitamin C that it works with and glutathione, your natural body antioxidant. The importance of the latter team member has only been known in the last decade. This is relatively new research on the power of antioxidants and taking a look at what are the most powerful antioxidants and who can do the biggest job and the most for the least. And it's lipoic acid. Amazing. And most manufacturers do not contain in any of their vitamins lipoic acid. They don't have it. It is also a cell talk translator. Alpha lipoic acid is unique that it can talk, chemically communicate with proteins. It can talk to vitamin C. Hey, boy, come on right here. You're not flushing out. I'm recharging you today. And it may talk to vitamin E, does the same thing. Remember, we learned that vitamin E recharges C, but what if alpha lipoic acid recharges E, which can in turn recharge vitamin C? And they're all doing the work together. Amazing.
Fearfully and wonderfully.
Yes, fearfully and wonderfully creative. Important in cell regulation is communication. Remember that border? And so that order at the border depends on how that cell border communicates with the other cells, communicates with the inside, and communicates with the outside environment, interstitial fluid. Oh boy. Lipoic acid is not considered to be a dietary essential nutrient, so you're not going to find it in a daily supplement. Did you hear what I just said? You're not going to find it because it's not considered by the USDA as a daily necessary supplement. Our bodies can make some lipoic acid, but again, we're looking to supersize it. Not when it comes to Mickey D's, but when it comes to nutrition, we want to supersize it. Dr. Packard said alpha lipoic acid is a metabolic antioxidant coenzyme that is a cofactor in at least two major energy producing reactions in the body. Powerful. An advantage of alpha lipoic acid is that it relatively is very small, tiny molecule, but it does a humongous job and it's transporting through cellular membranes. It can go inside the cell, bring order, come outside the cell, bring order, go back inside the cell, bring order. His research has focused on its role in the antioxidant cycle. Lipoic acid has an unusual relationship, again, with glutathione, CoQ10, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And Lester Packer's extensive research has shown that together, these five components form a unique antioxidant network. Wow. And they interact with each other because they all regenerate each other. Wouldn't you like your family to function like that?
That would be nice.
Oh my goodness, you energize me, honey. Yes. Instead of you drain me. Huh, I can't wait to exit. I mean, if you're around people that re-energize you, you want to go back around them, right? But if you're around people that just drain and drain and drain, you're going to naturally limit your time with them. Well, this is a network, which is CoQ10, vitamin E, vitamin C, and alpha lipoic acid that go, hey, boys, we are a network that we are all going to work together in unity as one. We're not going to fight against each other. We're actually going to fully support one another in this job called save your life. Woo! Fight the good fight. In other words, they can be used over and over and over again because they all regenerate one another. And it's the linchpin in the process against oxidative free radical damage. It's the only one that can recycle all four. It recycles CoQ10, it recycles vitamin C, it recycles vitamin E, and it recycles glutathione. And Dr. Packer called it the antioxidant to the antioxidants. Lipoic acid inhibits memory loss because this remarkable compound, this is why Dr. Arthur first put it in that Trey Essence drink. Wow, the relatively that can cross the blood-brain barrier. Whether you are an athlete or a couch potato, your brain cells are among the hardest working of your body, and it demands a lot of energy, right? So this alpha lipoic acid is going to render energy for the brain, for the heart, for the lungs. as well as glucose, energy. That's and of course, when your body uses oxygen, it has a respiration. It's like breathes, and then when it exhales, that when you respirate, when you inhale and respirate, you're respirating the toxin, and then it neutralizes that toxin. You tip the scale with alpha lipoic acid. Wow. It suppresses genetics, bad genes. Now, doesn't this make more sense than a vaccine? Just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying. Does it make sense to you? Okay. One such intervention in niacinamide, safe, natural. These are just, you can snap a picture of this, but these are just research showing antioxidants in general, but especially lipoic acid in particular, the effects in keeping certain oxidative stresses and genetics under control instead of mutating. This is good news. It's very good news. Lipoic acid boosts your glutathione. You know, when we were going through the C word, the pandemic, you know, everybody was saying, what can I do to boost my glutathione? Right here, alpha lipoic acid is shown scientifically to boost your glutathione. Lipoic acid not only acts as a primary antioxidant in the brain cells, but it serves to boost your glutathione levels through antioxidant. That's that network. That's that network it works with. Dr. Packer believes that this may be lipoic acid's principal virtue because the role of glutathione in maintaining your health and life itself is so overwhelmingly important. If your glutathione is low, you're about to approach a 6 foot under experience. When your glutathione is low, that means you have no immune system. At any age, low glutathione levels are a biological marker for death. These levels are drastically depleted in chronic illness such as cancer, autoimmune disease, lupus. All of these all have markers of low glutathione. Wow, low glutathione. This is a marker for low glutathione. So doesn't it make sense to boost your natural body's created defense system called glutathione through these amazing network of antioxidants that work on my behalf? Oh my goodness, this is amazing. More facts on lipoic acid. Are you trying to hear about this amazing antioxidant? The fact that lipoic acid can boost glutathione levels so quickly and so well has important application in the prevention and treatment of numerous chronic diseases that people are suffering today. Why not empower the body with a real network of antioxidants? Has the ability to counteract radiation. They used alpha lipoic acid with Chernobyl. Yes, in order to pull the radiation out of the body because it neutralizes the damage. There's nobody that would argue over the fact that radiation damages. It causes damage to the tissue, oxidative damage. And lipoic acid counteracts that damage and repairs that damage. So they used it in 1986 in Chernobyl. And it's to cure, I'm just quoting from an article here, for otherwise incurable poisoning from a mushroom, a deadly mushroom. They use alpha lipoic acid as the antidote. What? Wow. Can you say wow on this one?
Wow.
Wow. Foods that have alpha lipoic acid in it: spinach, tomatoes, yams, potatoes, Brussels sprouts, carrots, beets, rice bran, and broccoli. they have alpha lipoic acid in them. Wow, we should increase some of those, right? So we've already learned that Trey has a really good, powerful punch of alpha lipoic acid in it. Now we're learning that Neolife actually put alpha lipoic acid in our glucose balance too. Why? Because we know that if somebody is suffering from glandular toxicity and burden, then there's been some damage. And we know that alpha lipoic acid comes in as a network to neutralize that damage. What's in our glucose balance? Curcumin, turmeric, chromium, and take a look. Alpha lipoic acid helps support normal blood glucose levels and protecting the body from free radicals and efficiently using insulin as needed. How smart is that? How amazing is that? Wow. So those are the two formulas that Neolife has put alpha lipoic acid in, is the tray and the glucose balance. The carotenoid complex is another one of the powerful antioxidants. We have the only family of carotenoids that's been tested by the USDA to prove its effectiveness and its benefit to boost your immune system. 37% in less than 3 weeks. Increase your natural T cells, B cells in order for your front line of defense by 20% and to curb the oxidative damage by 44%. Wow. Protecting your cholesterol from oxidative damage by 500%. This is amazing. So putting this in your body, this is why this is one of Dr. Arthur First's big legacies that he left us was the carotenoid complex, because he knew it played a major role in helping the body's defense system to fight off of these chronic diseases. So let's take a look at maximize immune potential. There you go. Convert it into vitamin A if needed. It's what gives the color of the dark colored fruits and vegetables. But it not only has the alpha, but it has all 15 members of the family and all 600, actually 15 families and all 600 members. And lutein, lycopene, beta carotene, boosting your immune system. Boost, boost, boost. This is why the fighter defense is what we recommend, what Dr. Arthur First recommends if you're under high stress and you're under a diagnosis. You need to get out from under that diagnosis, relieve your body of all of the stress. And this is what Dr. Arthur First formulated to help humanity to do just that. Amazing. So it has the carotenoid, has the flavonoid, has the cruciferous. I don't have time enough to dive into all three of these, but let's dive into the cruciferous. Oh, okay. All right. Uh-huh. Absolutely. All right. Okay, now let's talk about the flavonoids first. And I could do a whole class on the flavonoids. I have, but it's a water-soluble vitamin C. It's a non-acidic vitamin C. It has an exclusive technology with all 4,000 of them family members working synergistically together on your behalf. It boosts effectiveness of vitamin C. It reduces rancidity of cholesterol, lowers blood pressure, bolsters your immune function, reduces inflammation. And in the Southern Cancer Research Institute, it showed that according to their studies showing that it slowed down cancer progression by 90%. Wow, that's huge. That's huge, huge, huge. And I can say that because we did the test on it. Cruciferous. I'm going to camp out a little bit on cruciferous like I did alpha lipoic acid. It's a phytonutrient protection from a wide array of cruciferous vegetables. It's got your broccoli, your kale, your radishes, your mustard, your watercress. It's got licorice root in it. It's got isoflavonoids from the soybean, orange oil, and it also has been tested and proven under the U.S. National Cancer Institute protocols. And it's showing, I'm going to show this, what the results were in just a moment. But you're seeing the components in the body that are able to build your body's tissue in a way that it fights off the invaders and it fights off the damage and the terrorists that are coming in order to take you down. The cellular terrorist. Cruciferous. You need more than a half a cup of serving every day, according to the National Cancer Institute. How many here have at least a half a serving of that a day? I don't. But if I take a cruciferous, I'm getting the value of 11 cabbages. Did you hear what I just said? If I take one cruciferous, I'm getting the value of consuming 11 cabbages. Wow. They contain glucosinolates, which are sulfur-containing chemicals. Parasites hate them. Fungus hates them. Virus hates this. Wow. When they break down, they form biologically active compounds that have powerful anti-cancer benefits. They inhibit cancer cells in several organs. Remember when I talked about the plastics that have a xenoestrogen, a fake synthetic estrogen that looks like, and the cells invite it in because it looks like, but it's a mirror image of? It's a masked as, but it's not real. And by the time it invites it in, it does a terrorist move inside the cell. Well, you see, there's one thing that can man the cells. There's receptors on the cells of hormone tissue, which includes your colon, your stomach, your lungs also have very similar tissue. It's antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, antiviral, anti-tumor, cell migration of tumor vessel formation, promotes glutathione. What? GST are family of enzymes that promote the elimination of cancer cells from the body. What? What? Wow. Now, how many here can eat 11 cabbages a day? I am not a rabbit. No cruciferous, slower elimination, longer exposure in the body tissue. Meaning, when you don't have a cruciferous manning the receptors of your cells, your body is being exposed to the xenoestrogen, the fake one. It's not being protective. Heals the blood-brain barrier. So there's been compromises to the blood-brain barrier. This cruciferous actually heals the blood-brain barrier and leaky gut. Purges the body of harmful carcinogens and targets cancer cells, stem cells, while preventing new malignancies. Wow, this is all research that's been done on cruciferous. Prostate cancer, breast cancer, most dreaded cancers. What I say was the top 5 killers. We need to declare war with broccoli, radishes, kale, black mustard, brown mustard, watercress, orange, licorice root, and vitamin E. And that's what it is in the Neolife cruciferous. Prevention and Reversal, 2011. Dr. John Clark, for a doctoral in molecular and cellular biology, proved that a diet rich in cruciferous was able to prevent prostate cancer. Wow. Dr. Terry Walls, MD, was able to reverse MS without drugs through a diet rich in cruciferous vegetables. Wow. How does it work? On the reproductive tissue only, there is a receptor post. It is programmed by our creator to have a cruciferous compound on it to work. The only way to provide this is to eat a half a cup of cruciferous vegetables daily. The receptor pumps up and down daily on a hormone gene called an oncogene. It's your growth gene in the cell that allows you to grow and stay fresh and alive. If you are deficient in this compound, a xenoestrogen or testosterone comes along and occupies the post. The post begins to malfunction and roll out multiples of deformed cells. If you can't repair the receptor cell, you will have something called a tumor. Put a thread of malignancy in the middle, and before you know it, about you are in a crisis fighting for your life. And all you have to do is eat a half a cup a day of cruciferous vegetables. Wow. Research shows a link between high consumption of cruciferous vegetables, low risk of certain cancers: breast cancer, prostate cancer, lining of the uterus, colon, and other digestive tract cancers. Broccoli, I mean, hello, wow. There it is. Protection and provision. Your immune system is from your protection. Janitorial carotenoids clean up, omegas heal. We thrive in the presence of these amazing nutrients, having them in powerful levels of abundance. We live in a hostile environment, but we're built to last and endure until the end. We're built to thrive. Amen. So enhance natural defense by taking a cruciferous 11 cabbages worth. Healthy enzymes, again, tested in the United States National Cancer Institute protocols to defend your tissues. I'm actually, for the sake of time, going to let you just see this. Genistein is also included in our cruciferous vegetable. If you want to, Dr. John Lee talks very extensively about the power of genistein to help fight against cancer. And this is why Dr. Arthur First included it into our cruciferous formula. And I won't read this, but you can snap a picture. And he called it a miracle, the genistein. So vitamin E also is an amazing antioxidant. It's called the king of antioxidants. It's not the antioxidants of all antioxidants, but you can see here, reduces all kinds of things. And what kinds of foods do we get it from? Wheat germ oil, nuts, grain, tocopherols. They're found in the bran. But what do they do when you, for the wheat, they shuck the bran. They shuck the bran off and they discard the bran and give it to feed for the cattle, and they leave us without the bran. So it'll double the lifespan of your cells. Our vitamin E is water miscible. It's from cold extracted wheat germ oil, has all 8 vitamin E's in it, all 4 tocopherols, all 4 tocotrienols. It's amazing. It's 100% food source. It's high potency, nothing synthetic, and it's standardized. It's amazing. And our vitamin C, we actually developed a technology called Neoplex, where we felt the vitamin C should come from a citrus. So we juice extracted that citrus, included its coenzymes, its coenzyme factors, including bioflavonoids and flavonoids. And it's quite amazing. And its threshold technology means that it holds its level hitting your body's systems for 6 to 8 hours consistently. Amazing. And then we talk about selenium, which also is found in the beta guard. Dr. Arthur first put selenium in the beta guard because he knew these trace minerals worked very closely with antioxidants, essential element for antioxidants to prevent the cancers from lungs, prostate, colon, the top killers. Synergistically, it actually works selenium with vitamin E. How do you get it? From garlic, onion, broccoli, whole grains, red grapes, egg yolk, selenium. Wow. And then graduate of Stanford in doctorate philosophy and degrees in chemistry, has published over 200. I think we just already shared that, but I want to say what's on the bottom. Sir Karl Popper's quote of the logic of scientific discovery: the wrong view of science portrays itself in the craving to be right. But it is not the possession of knowledge of irrefutable truth that makes the man of science, but his persistence and reckless critical quest for the truth. The great scientist we honor today has been, for the most part of his adult life, involved in this quest for truth. I would say Dr. Arthur First fits that definition of a great scientist in his quest for truth. So I'm going to share a little bit of testimonies about those who actually took this fight or defense, changed their lifestyle, stopped being exposed to a lot of the toxins, changed their lifestyle. And this is Lewis Smith, the author of Winning the Cancer Battle. And I want you to actually hear his personal testimony. This is only 2 minutes.
I want to share with you about an incredible struggle that I went through. I was about 26 years old when they discovered I had leukemia. And over the next 5 years, I fought my deathly challenge using every drug, every medication, every chemical known to mankind. And after 5 years, my doctor, who was an incredible man, a great family friend, sent me home. He said, go make things right because we can't help you anymore. It was then that I discovered God's impeccable grace and timing, because he sent somebody across my path who taught me that the body is the healer. And he said, Louis, if you change your lifestyle, you change your environment, you take your toxins out your world, you eat healthy, you treat your body right, you could beat this tragic time that you're going through. Well, I was very skeptical because I thought if this was true, surely they would have taught me this in the medical world. Well, this is what happened. I changed my supplementation. I went from synthetic to whole food supplementation. And to my utter amazement, my energy increased, my cancer count dropped, and I was winning the battle. And that's when I went back and I said, what else do I need to do besides changing my supplements? And I started getting onto organic whole foods. I started peeling my fruits and vegetables and washing them. I started eating mostly raw fruits and vegetables. I took toxic shampoos and conditioners and skin creams out of my life, and I got onto really healthy nutrients and healthy products applied to my skin. And I changed my lifestyle and I beat my cancer. That was 28 years ago. Folks, you can beat your deathly challenge too if you've got the determination and the guts to do what it takes. Educate yourself and change your life.
Wow. Is that ever powerful? Powerful. Now I want to share Kimberly Coles. If any of you were on our Zoom call with our Zoom for health. What was it called? Global Health Day. Yeah, Global Health Day. You can actually hear her 20-minute testimony, but I want you to see Kimberly Cole's testimony. She's a registered nurse who is giving no hope, but through meeting someone who had known Lewis Smith and had heard about his story and testimony, and heard that she was given no hope, sent home with no hope, with the C word. And she spoke with Louis, found out what he was doing, changed her lifestyle. And you can see here, she had stage 4, but through faith, through lifestyle changes and whole food hypernutrition, supplementation, and natural methods, she experienced a remarkable restoration of health and is now cancer free. And so you can actually see her testimony. If you want me to send her audio to you, I did. And you also can go on to boards, and there's a recording of our Global Health Day, and she was the last speaker on there, and she gives a 25-minute talk that is extremely powerful, giving God all the glory. And she said, so I want to share one more. This is Tiffany, and many of us have met this amazing woman, but this is actually when she was given no hope, sent home with no hope, the last stage, and she met Lewis Smith in a restaurant. He overheard the conversation between her and her husband talking about their last supper together and getting her affairs together to leave this world and be unalive. And Louis shared his testimony with her, and in 6 weeks, 6 weeks or 8 weeks, 6.5 weeks, you can see the difference between the left to the right of changing your lifestyle, changing over to whole human food, proven supplementation, and you can see the difference in Tiffany's life. And if you want to meet her, she will be in Denton, Texas, sharing her powerful testimony with her and her husband. This also is someone I personally know that was given no hope. The last stage of the last stage is kind of like Wells Fargo stage, gets off here and it's a cliff. You just take one step, you're going down the cliff. And that was Sue's situation. And her son had met Louis, went to a meeting, and he said, my mother needs to hear this. She was taking another chiropractic line of supplements and thought they were the best. And so her son drove home 7 hours, drove back another 7 hours for her to meet Louis. He taught her how to eat, how to switch over to a whole food synergistic supplementation program, change her lifestyle. She is cancer-free today. And state of California even called her and said, what are you doing? Because you're only one with this triple negative. Did you hear that? Triple negative that is still alive, that still has no sign of cancer. And that was like 15 years ago. And so that's Sue's story. And of course, you know why I do what I do, because my sister lost her life at 56 to breast cancer. And she gave me the mandate on her deathbed. Don't stop telling people the truth. Find solutions and tools and answers, LeBron, and help all that you can. And of course, my other sister up here in the top picture, her husband was diagnosed with the C word, given no hope. And that was when I began to pray, Lord, there's got to be something out there that you've had your hand on, that you have orchestrated down through the decades, something that has quality, something that has a legacy, something that understands the way you created the human body, to bring an application to help the body to fight in this world that is inundated with toxins. And God answered that prayer, and I was able to help my sister's husband in that situation. And he got better and better and better. Amazing. I knew that real was rare, and I knew when it is real, it works. And if it works in one person, it works in every person, because we have the blueprint, this same blueprint, and the blueprint is nature. And it's the only thing that can build a house of health. Drugs have side effects, chemo has side effects, radiation has side effects, vaccines have detrimental side effects. And yet, that's the only solution that we're giving people to offer today. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just offering some information and to share with you that there are people that are conquering this, that are winning the battle, and they're doing it by just simply paying attention to how God made the human body. Prevention measures: detox your body, detox your home, load up on nutrition. Avoid toxins as much as possible in your food, people, and environment. Did you hear that? Manage your stress well. We can go into further classes about how to manage your stress well. Visit daily the 9 best doctors. Can anybody name for me the 9 best doctors? Rest, sunshine, laughter, water, exercise, food. Anybody else? That's 6. All right, that's 6. The 9 best doctors. Sleep, because that's different from rest. And then we got sunshine in there, laughter in there. But anyhow, 9 best doctors, visit them, starting with the great physician. Start with a great physician every single day. Honor him, honor his name, honor his position as Lord over your body, as creator and maker of your body. Always start there. And then choose a home care, personal care, and a supplement program that is the top quality. Choose something that can validate and verify their quality. Choose something that has a legacy that you can trust for decades and decades and decades. And that's why I chose Neolife, because I can trust Neolife. And I've seen it work, and it works every time when people properly apply it and recognize the difference. So I'm going to end the show here and stop share. And we're going to go over here. Thank you all for participating. I'm going to stop the recording.